Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's introductory press conference. After an opening statement from Coach and after an introduction from Josh Burlow, we'll take questions from the media. At this time, to welcome our new head coach, I invite up to the stage Vice Chancellor Josh Burlow.
Coach, you're going to have to adjust this when I'm done, okay? Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here. An exciting moment for our program. We have such rich history and tradition here at Denver Athletics, and look forward to basketball contributing to that at a higher level. So, again, exceptionally pleased to introduce Coach Tim Bergstraser to Denver Athletics. Before we do that, I just want to share a couple of nuggets with you. First, we hear the term national search all the time. I can tell you this was a national search. I flew to all four corners of the country recruiting candidates and was so impressed with the quality of folks. And I'm always looking for an opportunity to visit Fargo in the winter, Coach, so thank you for getting me there. Coach Bergstraser very quickly rose to the top of that pool. He's a proven winner, and his record speaks for itself. The release has all the information, but 75-22 as a head coach, multiple conference championships, NCAA tournament wins. But the piece that resonated with me quickly, and even though we both spent time in the same region of Minnesota, I didn't know Tim. But as I did my research and I talked to people that played for Tim, that coached Tim, that were administrators around Tim, that were colleagues of Tim, I didn't have to ask them about his character. It came out before I could get to the question. The amount of respect that trusted colleagues and very accomplished folks within college athletics had for Tim really resonated with a place that character matters. Character matters at our university with the 40 experience. Character matters. It's one of the established values of our student-athlete leadership. And that was something critically important for us to confirm, and we know from multiple angles that Tim's character is of the highest level. At the same time, Tim lived within the Summit League footprint. He recruited against the Summit League. He competed against the Summit League. He knows what it takes to win in this conference, and that is something that we've aspired to do since joining the Summit League years ago. So with that, we are exceptionally pleased to welcome Tim, his wife Ashley, their two kids. I think Presley knows her way around the Ritchie Center better than Tim thus far at this point. And just so honored to have you joining the Pioneer Athletics family. So with that, the 34th coach of Denver men's basketball, Tim Bergstraser.
Wait, yeah, you're right. Make sure I don't bust this on my first day here. It'll be good enough. Could you guys hear me if I'm sitting up like this? Okay. Well, wow, this amazing support. Just to see this many people out here to listen to me speak here for a little bit, and I hope you guys understand how much that matters to me. I mean, I really understand that this place is a big deal, but I really appreciate taking the time to be here for this. I can't thank enough Josh Burlow, Chancellor Hafner, the committee for allowing me to be the head coach here. Their sense of professionalism, I could really tell it was obvious in this, and I really respect how they handled that. And they were extremely diligent in that process as well. Obviously, I wanted to get done. I kept kind of poking at them a little bit, like, let's get this thing done. But you could tell they were really taking the time, doing their research to make sure they got the right person for this position. And you definitely didn't miss on that. You got a winner on that one, let me tell you. Okay? But coming to DU, it's always a spot that me and my wife have talked about living in Colorado. We've always wanted to be around mountains. We're big into hiking, okay? So we've always wanted to be here. That was the thing that just sweetened the pot for us, okay? And then when this job opened up, it's one that I always followed. I was always hoping that it would open up, and then I was to do what I could to put my foot in the door and get an opportunity to be the head coach. So I'm very grateful for that moment. But the professional college lifestyle that's here, like that vibe, is very obvious. And I think it's just a really cool atmosphere to be around. So it's going to be a very easy sell, in my opinion. I don't know how you don't sell this in so many different ways. And then just the academics on top of that, you can match that with so many different programs across the nation. That's a big deal here as well with the academics. We'll get our kind of people there. And then very obvious as well is just the investment within athletics. when I was because I was in an incredible situation at MSUM, and it had to be something really sweet for me to want to leave and to bring my family here. But I could really tell through the process, more people that I met along the way, they care about athletics here. The university, the department, they have a major investment in that. They want to see them succeed, and that was really, really important to me because family is a big deal for me, and I could tell that was here. And then when you really look at it too, athletic success, it's obvious. Okay, top to bottom, people are winning championships, national championships, making it to the national tournament. Okay, so why can't men's basketball do it? That's the way I looked at it. We have everything we need here to make sure we have success, if other programs could do it too. So we're going to jump on board right there with you. Can't make sure I can never forget about my beautiful wife here and making sure I thank you for everything you've done. The sacrifice in our journey has been awesome. You packed up a lot to follow me on my journey, and you've denied some certain positions to make sure we follow my path. You've helped us raise two beautiful children right here. My daughter Presley, she's almost 3. She's going to treat this place like a jungle gym. She'll be telling you guys to all be quiet and shushing you when we're shooting free throws. I need to make sure she's screaming a little more at the opponent like she does at home. And then with my son, he's about 7 months here, Kai. He's probably the happiest little dude you'll ever meet. But I know my family, they'll be very present at any time we're playing here. But for them to come here and to be with me today, like it's a very big deal. It really warms my heart. But looking at our program, I take a lot of pride, and I want you to look at us just like they play the right way. Okay, you can tell they play hard, they compete, they play together, they're playing for each other, they care about winning. There's a lot of stuff that goes into winning. So that's why I really want you to look at our team, and we do it with class. Now don't get it twisted. We're going to compete our tails off, but still, we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to do it with class and represent DU the right way. Okay, but we're going to have the mindset to compete for championships. That's how I'm wired. I've been so fortunate any place I've been to win. And it's because of players, it's because of mentors being at the right place at the right time, and right now is the right time to be at DU. And I say that with all honesty. But that is my mentality. We're going to win, we're going to fight for championships, we're going to compete in the Summit League. The Summit League's a big time league. I've been around it. Our league, a lot of people don't respect Division II, unfortunately, as much, but if you ever heard of the NSIC or aware of it, it's basically a Division I level. And I know how the Summit League operates. Yes, I'm going to have to learn. I'm going to have to rely on a lot of people for some help, and I'm going to have to make adjustments. But as a competitor myself, the Summit League is something I want to be a part of, okay? Because it's big-time, high-level basketball with some really good players and some very good coaches. So we're not going to be afraid to compete in that. But what I will say is you're going to see a different level of passion, intensity, discipline that this program's ever had. Okay, I'm going to have so much ownership in making sure that happens for DU men's basketball. What we have here is enough. I have done my research plenty. I've met as many people as I need to meet to understand you can win here and you can do some incredible things here. Like I said before, right now is the right time to be here. And the way we sell it, we're going to be extremely blunt and upfront in the beginning of the process, and we're going to attract people that are about that, and we're going to weed out the people that are not. That's how you need to be as a recruiter. Understand who you are and sell that nice and clearly. You'll bring in your type of people. But the big important thing for me, and I've been saying it this whole process, is for the men's basketball program, people need to respect the DU logo. I don't think there's a lot of respect right now on the men's basketball side when people look at DU. So we're going to make sure that narrative is flipped, and I'm going to have a lot of pride in that. But I know how I operate. Wherever I'm at, wherever my feet are at, I know how invested I'm going to be. That's just who I am. I'm a worker. I'm a blue-collar guy. I'm not fancy. I'm a very vanilla human being. I'm pretty basic, but in the end, I am who I am. But I'm going to care about people. I'm going to respect people. I'm going to work extremely hard, and we're just going to do whatever it takes to win. But where I'm at, I will have a relentless amount of pride for the University of Denver, and I'm going to fight for this university and program. I'm a fighter. I'm a nasty competitor, but I think in the end, we're going to do it the right way. So I can't express how stinking happy I am to be here, to have my family here, to have you guys all supporting us. This is a moment that I'm really going to cherish, and I'm just really excited to see what this program is going to do here moving forward. It's going to take everybody. We're going to rely on you guys to give us some help here, but we're going to catch a lot of people's attention. It's going to take time, but we're going to get it clicking here pretty quick.
For Coach.
Hey, Coach, Kyle Newman from the Denver Post. Welcome to Denver.
Thank you.
You mentioned, obviously, this is a program that has struggled last, 10 or so years, struggled to win, no NCAA tournament appearances. What do you think you bring to the table that can, change this trajectory? You mentioned the intensity, the recruiting, but what can really get this program going in the direction to win more games and maybe make the tournament?
It's always going to come down to the people. I mean, it's a pretty generic answer, but it's a very powerful one. It's going to come down to the people that you're putting in that locker room. And obviously we have a system and how we do things, and it's a long list as they'll learn over time. But we need to recruit high-level impact players, and we're not going to be afraid to do that. And, we'll lose some battles, but on top of just them having a good attitude, effort, and talent, it's like, who are they as a human being? What is their character level? Are they good in the classroom? And then we'll worry about if they're good enough to play here. But you need to be very diligent in your recruiting. And there's a lot of people out there that you need to sift through that you understand, like, yeah, they could be a pretty good player, but maybe they're not a D2 type or DU type person. So we got to weed those ones out. But we're going to be very specific in understanding how important it is, especially right now in this transition. We need to get our kind of people that are dang good at basketball. And then in the end, are they winners or not? Okay, because a lot of people out there a lot of fake tough guys, and they're not true competitors. You got to really dig deep to try to find that. So we're really going to do our same recruiting process on finding our kind of people that just want to win. They do whatever it takes to win. And when you get a locker room full of that, and they're doing it for each other, that gives you a chance to be in that situation, to be in a national tournament and win a championship. It ain't going to guarantee nothing. But that is going to be our mentality, is filling up that locker room with the right people that are going to do it the DU way.
Tim, Scotty Gange, 9 News. Welcome here to Colorado. You mentioned it a bit. DU has championship teams. The city of Denver, the state of Colorado, has a lot of wonderful sports teams. It's a great sports town to be a part of. I'm wondering how it feels for you to be now officially part of this sports landscape here.
It's very humbling. I'm just like, if there's any other fancier word to say than excited, I'd find it. But like I said before, just the professional, the college, just the vibe, the lifestyle here. It's how can't you sell that? And just for me and my family, it's going to be like, I love Fargo Moorhead with all my heart. Okay, they did a lot for me, but it's going to be a little different scenery here with the mountains, all the pro teams out here, an incredible, beautiful university here. So it's just the lifestyle is going to be a little different, but I think it's just something that we're going to be very happy in. And just the weather's going to be very different as well. We're used to having snow about 5 months out of the year, whatever it is, and nice cold weather. But it's a big deal to be here. I've really grown to understand that, and we need to make sure more people understand being at DU is special, and it's a big deal.
Coach, obviously a lot of success at MSUM. I saw a number of those key players from this past year's team are in the portal. Do you anticipate on trying to recruit those guys to DU and have some of those guys follow you over here?
Yeah, it's obviously I got to be careful, and due to rules, I can't really comment too much on anything. But I do know that there's a lot of roster. This week's a big deal for roster management, and I need to understand what's available, what's open, and once we really sit down and figure that out, and even with the staff as well, that we'll figure out here at some point. But we need to designate who our targets are, figure out what gaps we really believe we need to fill. But we're going to just try to find the most high-level players that we possibly can. And so again, I don't want to go too in-depth on anything like that. Obviously, anybody out of the NSSC is very high-level basketball players, and I think anybody that enters the portal from the NSSC is sought out after from the Summit, because it's obviously a very good league. So we're going to put that net very wide. We're going to look for every spot, everywhere. Obviously, we're going to try to hit our area the most and try to find those people. But with that transfer portal, again, that allows you to get a little more experience and a little more age.
Hey, Coach, Nick Allen, DU Clarion. Obviously, if you can't talk about the recruiting, we did just get 3 new commits from MSU Moorhead. Is there anything you could talk about with those guys?
I can't comment on that at this point due to NCAA rules. So.
Okay, sorry. And then obviously we've also had max access to the transfer portal from our current roster coming back last year. Is there anything you're going to do to address those issues with players leaving?
Well, that was their decision with them wanting to enter in. And again, that's just the era of basketball that we live in right now. So if that's their decision, that's just going to be up to me. Like, all right, we know what we need to bring in once we really break down our roster. And then we're just going to do what we believe we're really good at and go evaluate a ton of players and fill those gaps with our kind of people. Yeah, again, like I said with the transfer portal, we can't be surprised by it. It's here. The NIL is here. So, and that's just fine. We'll work around it. But especially in the Summer League, I've seen it firsthand. And I've been a little bit part of it at our level, but guys are going to leave no matter what you do for them. You might give them everything they want. You might treat them with so much respect and make them so happy, but in the end, sometimes they just want to go test some other waters out, and that's just fine. So you almost got to be numb to it. You want these people to stay because you want to build these relationships with these guys, but in the end, we got to be real and understand just what the landscape of recruiting we're dealing with today.
Coach, taking back to your playing days in college at St. Cloud State, 3 ACL injuries, right? How did that, and the ending to that playing career, and then that got you into coaching, how did all that experience mold you as a young coach, and how do you kind of still carry it with you today?
Yeah, well, I know who I was as a player, and I like to think I had a different attachment to the game, and I'm absolutely obsessed with this sport, and I could change your life in so many different areas. But yeah, I mean, it was a blessing in disguise that when you really look back at how my journey's unfolded here, and I transitioned to coaching as a student assistant. It's not what I wanted to do at the time. After I tore my ACL a third time, I went to my coach and said, no, let's cut my knee open again and I'll give it another run. And he looked at life beyond basketball, and God bless him for doing that. Because at the time I didn't love it, but now when I look back at it, I mean, he was really looking out for me more as just as a human being and not just a basketball player. And I've always learned that too. It's a people business. We understand that, and I'm always going to care about the guys in our program, and I'm always going to tell them, and it's going to be authentic of, like, I care about you more than just a basketball player. Like, we want to win basketball games, don't get me wrong, but you and who you are as a person, and character, that's a big deal for me and how we're going to operate as a program. But just who I was as a player, anybody that played against me, coached against me, like, they just know I worked so stinking hard, and I was a 6'5" center, so I mean, I had to do a little more of the dirty work. But I'm a relentless competitor. I care so much about winning. Yes, there's a balance to it, but I'm going to do whatever it takes to win, and that's just who I am as a competitor. So I like to believe have a little more sense of passion than others, and people could do it their own way, and that's just fine, but that's just who I am. I got that burning fire in me, and you guys will see it when national anthem's being sung. I'll be praying, and then that's kind of when the mode is flipping, and that's when I'm just getting into competitor mode. So that's the stuff I love, and once those chills go away, I'll stop coaching, but I anticipate that won't happen until I'm like 80. So God willing, I live that long.
Have time for a couple more.
You've talked a lot about the success of the DU athletic department, success in other sports. What do you think's been holding basketball back from living up to that success until now?
Well, just doing my research, and maybe it might be the players, coaching system. I don't know, but I just kept going. Everybody I talked to is just like, how are you not bringing in high-level impact players here? So I'm never going to dig too deep in how they operated by any means, because again, that was their way. It might work. It might have worked somewhere else. I don't know. But when I did my deep dive in research here, I just was looking for, like, what's the obstacle? Like, why aren't we successful here? And I can't find it. I mean, it's just, yeah, like some people might say facility-wise maybe isn't as good as it should be compared to their league, and like that's just fine. And that's why I knew this place was even more of a fit for me, because who I am and where I've come from, I don't need all the bells and whistles and all that, and we're going to find players that don't care about that stuff either. And if they do, we'll tell them to go somewhere else, and that's just fine, because they're not just going to align with how we do things. So it's a very easy sell for me. You'd be amazed on, obviously, since it's been posted, I've had a humongous amount of support, and it's amazing. But just the amount of people that want to be at DU, like good players want to be here. They want to just live in Denver. So we're going to make sure that people understand, like, it is a special area to be. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you coming out.